That's all right, we can wait till everyone's ready. There's made a huge difference on everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible, Jess. It's so good.
Yes.
So easy to get through everything. All right, let me know when everyone's good to go. All right, good morning Queensland and good morning Centenary suburbs, and I'll have a little bit more to say about the opening of the new Len Waters overpass in a moment, but I think we'll deal with the COVID issues first. So, first of all, I can report that we've got 2 new cases today, but they're in hotel quarantine, which is wonderful news, and I'll have some more things to say about the easing of restrictions in a few short moments. The 2 from overseas were from Papua New Guinea, and they're now in our hospitals. We have 51 active cases in our hospitals at the moment, and tests yesterday, really good effort from everyone, over 8,000. We have had 8,246 tests. So once again, if you're sick, go and get tested. It's absolutely crucial, and I want to thank everyone who's been going out and doing that. That's been absolutely wonderful. And in terms of vaccines, there's been 2,568 in the last 24 hours, taking our total number to 115,025. So, with that, good news about zero community transmission. Queenslanders have done a mighty job, and I want to thank everyone. It has not been easy over these last 2 weeks. I know people have had to wear their masks, but by wearing our mask, we're keeping everyone safe. And I'm not going to say we're not going to have any future cases where we have to wear these masks again. I don't know the future, but everyone has done a great job to date. So I'll be able to now talk about some of the easing of the restrictions. I've had a meeting this morning with Dr. Young and the Health Minister, and I can advise that the easing of our restrictions will be from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's wonderful news. It was originally scheduled for 12 o'clock, but Dr. Young said there's no issues with that being at 6 a.m. So that means that you don't have to carry your mask. You still have to wear masks going through the airport terminals and on planes. But can I just advise everyone, if you are going to go into a crowded area in a shopping centre or something, or public transport, and you can't socially distance, have your mask, and if you feel like putting it on, please feel free to do that. Now, of 6 a.m. tomorrow, this is going to be really good news for families, and I know it's been very tough on families who've had loved ones in hospitals, in our aged care facilities, and in our disability homes as well. So family are going to be reunited. This has been very tough for everyone, and I know tomorrow is going to be very exciting for a lot of families across our state. We can once again go to pubs and restaurants and stand up and have a drink, so I know there's going to be a lot of people who will be happy about that. We can, it's Lydia here, dancing inside and outside at nightclubs and at weddings. You can have 100 people to your home. That's still a lot of people. And we're going to go one step further too. So from 6 a.m. tomorrow, people can gather outside without restrictions. And the only difference there will be for music festivals. Music festivals will have to have a COVID-safe plan. Then we will have venues and ticketed allocated seats like stadiums, cinemas and theatres will be back up to 100%. So that's great news as well. And of course, everyone, don't forget too that we want to have that our check-in app by the 1st of May. So if you're a restaurant or a cafe and you haven't yet got that check-in app, please get it. It just makes it so much easier. It's so easy. You don't have to stand there and put all your details in. So that's wonderful news. So now let's go on to Sumners Road. So from the outset too, I really want to thank the local member Jess Pugh. She has been front and centre of getting this overpass fixed up. Now this was an election commitment, and it is delivered, and it's delivered 6 months ahead of schedule. Around $80 million, we've had over 100 people working on this project. But what's really significant today, and we've got the great honour of having Gladys here, but this overpass is going to be named, or it is named, after her late husband, Len. Now, Len Waters was a trailblazer, the first Aboriginal fighter pilot for Australia, and we are so proud that this overpass is named in his honour. Now, I know the family's lived in Inala for many years, and our Gladys resides, I think, in Middle Park, and her family not too far away from here. And what a fitting tribute to name this overpass in the honour of her late husband. And many people would also be aware that there is currently an exhibition at the Queensland Museum. So if you have the opportunity, drop in and see that, to see some remarkable Queensland history. So very good news today. So look, I might hand over to Minister Bailey. I want to thank Minister Bailey and his department for making sure that this was delivered. This was a huge bottleneck for this region, and I know that my electorate and Jess's electorate border each other, and a lot of people commute backwards and forwards. Gone are the two twin roundabouts, and now the traffic flows freely. And every time I drive on it, I'm like, this is fantastic, and it really eases the congestion, and it is safe. That's the number one thing. It's actually making the roads a whole lot safer, and people can get home to and from their families a whole lot faster. So look, I might hand over to Mark to say a few words, and of course we're joined by the federal member Milton Dick, and of course I know this is in his federal electorate, and I know he's been a proud champion of this project as well. So I'll hand over to Mark to say a few words, and Jess, Milton, and then we're happy to take some questions.
Thanks very much, Premier. Look, it's great joy to join the Premier, Jess Pugh, our local member, has been such a strong advocate for this project. To Gladys Waters and her family, wonderful to have you here, and to have Len Waters' role acknowledged. This is a fantastic project, $80 million project, 105 jobs, dealing with a big bottleneck here on the Centenary. It's not just about better roads for local motorists, but we've also taken the opportunity to grade separate the cycling network from the road network so that it's safer for cyclists and it's quicker for cyclists to get into the city. So when we do big road projects, we do active transport. That's the smart thing to do, and this is another example of that. What we're seeing across Queensland is a huge level of infrastructure investment by the Palaszczuk Labor government. We're seeing 50% more expenditure go into infrastructure under this government than when we came into office. And that means that we've had a whole range of completions in the last couple of years. Gateway Arterial North, 2 M1 upgrades, the Ipswich Motorway nearly done, Mackay Ring Road done, Cairns Southern Access at Robert Foster Road done, and we're seeing a whole range of new projects that will start this year, because we landed 5 stimulus packages in the last 18 months for Queensland, which means our record expenditure is now up to $26.9 billion in infrastructure over the next 4 years. So it'll be very exciting to see new projects start over the next 12 months, projects like the Walkerston Bypass, like the Rocky Ring Road, like upgrades right across the estate. We'll see sections of the M1 upgrades underway, opened this year as well. Ipswich Motorway about to open as well. So this level of investment in infrastructure has never been seen before in Queensland because of the Premier and this government's commitment to jobs. Of course, this project was one that was cut by the previous LNP government when David Crisafulli was at the cabinet table, and here we are opening it, having completed it fully. And of course, we know that LNP internal divisions are as bad as it's ever been. This morning's been revealed that Tim Mander, former deputy leader, is now involving himself in party affairs because the LNP headquarters and the LNP parliamentary team cannot get along. This dysfunction's been going for 6 months since the election, and it continues unabated. And then compare that and contrast that with the Palaszczuk Labor government, united, focused, jobs driven. That's what we're about, and that's what we'll continue to do. I'll hand over to Jess Pugh, and like I say, Jess Pugh has been an incredible advocate for this area. As a candidate, as an MP, she gets things done, and today just goes to show how much she gets done. Jess.
Thank you very much, Minister and Premier, and it's such an honour to be here this morning to open the Sumner Road overpass, aka the Len Waters overpass. This bridge to me and to my community is so much more than just an overpass. It's a symbol of this government's commitment to our area and to keeping its promises. I was the candidate back in 2015 and I door knocked over 5,000 houses, and the number one issue people raised with me was this overpass. Again in 2017, the number one issue raised with me was this overpass. And so it was so exciting to see construction start on this fantastic 6-lane, $80 million project shortly after the 2017 election. So being here today to see it delivered and named in the honour of one of our local veterans is absolutely a pleasure and a privilege. And of course, now that we've got this overpass finished, people have started saying, when are you getting started on the centenary? And Milton and I, we certainly have a plan for that. So we're not resting on our laurels, we're getting on with the job and looking forward to the next project in the electorate. But there are so many people from my community who wish they could be here today because it is such a momentous occasion for our community. This project has been on the cards since 2009 and here we are today delivering a bigger, better project than originally promised, 6 months ahead of schedule. This is a great day for the Centenary suburbs.
Thanks very much, everyone. On behalf of the wider community, I want to acknowledge the community advocates that are here for this specific announcement and opening of this historic infrastructure project. Many people said this bridge wouldn't be upgraded, but the Palaszczuk government and through the leadership of our local state member has made this a reality. This is a game changer and will get people home quicker to spend more time with their family. For too long, people have had to wait sitting in traffic, but this $80 million investment in our community will really help our local businesses and our local communities. I do want to make a couple of remarks around Australia Post. Overnight it's been revealed potentially 5,000 job losses will occur with Australia Post's secret plan to potentially privatise this great institution, which will mean hundreds of outlets closed. This will have a big impact in our local community here, particularly for seniors who rely on Aussie Post, and this is a serious issue that the federal opposition will be following and demanding more answers from the federal government.
Thanks. We're happy to take some questions.
Do you think it's necessary for National Cabinet to be meeting twice a week?
Oh, look, the Prime Minister raised that, I think it was yesterday. Look, I'm happy to meet as often there's a need for National Cabinet to meet. So, look, let's have the first meeting. Let's see how that goes. I would have anticipated we would have needed to meet more often as we got in more supply. But happy to go along with whatever the Prime Minister requests.
What are you hoping for Queensland to get out of it?
Sorry?
What are you hoping for Queensland to get out of it?
Well, we've only just been advised that there's going to be these twice weekly meetings. And like I said, I think the real crunch comes in the lead up to when you get that extra supply in.
Is Queensland still having an issue with supply?
I think every state territory is having an issue with supply.
Getting too many vaccines coming at once and then not enough, but still not.
Well, I think what these National Cabinet meetings will do is the last National Cabinet meeting we had, we talked about the transparency of the figures, which I think is fantastic. That's exactly what I've been asking for. And I think that what these regular meetings will do will put everybody on the same page. So everybody will be getting the same information at the same time and telling the Australian public everything at the single point of time. And I think that's a good thing.
Restrictions are now easing. Are you confident the first clusters are contained?
Well, the Chief Health Officer is, she wouldn't have put in place the easing of restrictions if she wasn't confident, and she said it is through the tremendous work of the Queensland public and everything that the Queensland public has done. But that 3-day lockdown enabled our contact tracers to get on top of the issues we had, and we were able to put people then into that quarantine situation, and then you saw no further spread of that virus, which is excellent news. But it is still really important out there, everyone. If you are sick, please go and get a test. That is still very important.
Just on the PA hospital, has the virus been found after it being cleaned there?
The Health Minister mentioned to me this morning that that is the first that she's heard about it, so she is going to get some further information. But it is not unusual for traces to be found that are not contagious. So I'll get a further statement from the Health Minister later on today for you.
Is it worrying though? Is it like this UK strain?
Sorry?
How contagious is UK strain?
Yeah, but my understanding is that it's not contagious after a period of time. So I think that we need to let the health experts look at that issue and report back to you about that.
The Queensland Nurses Union is taking Queensland Health to IRC over the PPE penny. Are you concerned about that?
No, because look, if they want it, that's a matter for them. Yep.
What's your message to nurses in the context of
Sorry?
virus? What's your message to nurses in the context of virus being found after being cleaned in the PA?
I'd rather let the health experts talk about that, if that's okay. I'll let the health experts talk about that, and there has been my understanding, some upgrading of the wearing of PPE that Dr. Young put in place.
Do you have any concerns about the fitting of PPE?
Sorry?
Do you have any concerns about the fitting of PPE?
Oh, you'll have to ask the health experts that, so I'm happy to get back to you on that, Dominic, but my understanding is that everyone's been doing the right thing.
You spoke at the last National Cabinet, your aim was to get that transparency in terms of shipments and vaccines. What do you want to get out of the next National Cabinet meeting?
Well, the next National Cabinet's been called by the Prime Minister, so he'll be putting on the agenda what he wants to talk to National Cabinet about. It's not something we've called for.
But what needs to be done, do you think?
Well, you have to ask him. You'll have to ask him. But what I've said very clearly, Lydia, is that I think the Australian public needs confidence that everybody is working together. That's what they need, and I think that's what the Prime Minister wants to get out of National Cabinet.
You've gone into previous National Cabinets, though, pushing for something specific for Queensland. Will this National Cabinet be more sitting back and listening?
I'm not saying, well, I haven't seen the agenda, so I'm not going to comment on something I haven't seen the agenda for. It was an idea that was floated yesterday. It's been reported publicly. I haven't seen the agenda, but if it is about making sure that the Australian public have confidence in the vaccine rollout, that is a good thing.
Premier, the Bruce Highway between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, creating that as a 6-lane highway all the way, is that ever realistically going to happen?
There's a lot of work that's happening. We're progressively rolling out those upgrades, and you'll see that in the forward plans, and probably Minister Bailey can talk a little bit more about that. But there is so much construction work that's already happening there, and that's through the bipartisan cooperation between the state government and the federal government.
Is there a time frame?
I'm sorry, I can't hear, the truck just went
Is
past.
there any sort of time frame on when that could happen?
I'll get Minister Bailey to address that, okay? All right? Thanks. Thanks, Mark.
No, I drove through the 6 laning of the Bruce Highway between Brisbane and Sunshine Coast only yesterday. $662 million project there to 6 lane the Bruce between Bribie Island Turnoff and Steve Irwin Way is well and truly underway. As anyone who goes through there can see. What we had, we didn't even have a business case when we came into office from the previous government, so we've had to do the preparation work. And what we'll see is a succession of projects going into the future, 6 laning that Bruce Highway from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast. Clearly we need it, and people will see a lot of work on that for many years to come.
When do you think it will be?
Well, it'll depend on how fast we can do the work. It really depends on a range of factors. This project, for instance, 6 months ahead of time, so fantastic effort, and every project's a little different. But what we'll see, rather than having the whole highway ground to a halt while we would do them all in the one go, we'll see a succession of upgrades over time so that we spread the load. We have a good pipeline of jobs, and we'll see that the road between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast improve progressively year by year.
Premier, before you go, can I ask you, were you disappointed Les Walker forgot to wear his mask in the Townsville Shopping Centre?
Sorry?
Were you disappointed Les Walker forgot to wear his mask?
My understanding is that he realised he didn't have his mask on him, and he went back out to his car and picked it up. I'm quite sure a lot of other Queenslanders have done exactly the same thing. I've sent out a reminder to all MPs that they must make sure that they know what the requirements are and carry a mask on you at all times.
Just on the back of the line, you mentioned
Yes.
it's important that people have confidence in the
Yes.
program. Do you think the mistargets and bundles with supply is putting the program at risk?
The federal government is responsible for the supply. They have been very upfront about that. We know that there are huge waves happening overseas, and I can understand that those countries want to vaccinate their people quickly because they are having hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths.
A lot of people have been cancelling their bookings for AstraZeneca vaccine after what happened last week. Are you worried about that?
I think there needs to be more confidence, given from the Prime Minister and the experts about the rollout of the vaccine, and hopefully National Cabinet will be able to be the vehicle that can provide that extra confidence.
How do you think that confidence should be restored? Like, how do you come back to this?
Well, I think people need to listen to the health experts. Okay, thanks everyone, thanks for coming out. Thanks Gladys.